And I want to welcome you, Hettie. I think you'll be presenting on the secretary's role. And I appreciate you being here and working with us with the district. You have so much experience and so much to share and can help our officers learn all the ins and outs of that role. So please welcome Hettie Allsup on the secretary training job.
This is Hettie Allsup. I've been in Toastmasters since 2004. I have been in 3 different Toastmaster districts. They're all the same and they're all different. I have been every club officer position there is several times and enjoyed each one. There's tremendous growth for each club and each position, and it's fun. I enjoy working with the group and finding goals that we want and then actually seeing them through. When we're talking about the role of secretary, it is a role. We have, when we're in a group, we are the person who keeps all the records. But there are responsibilities along with that, not just keeping the records, but being sure that we're keeping the right records and we have the right ways to interface with the rest of the group. There's also a lot of places where we can get information about how to be a tremendous secretary. First of all, let's talk about what we do at a club meeting. We're there, we know what's going on, and we're recording everything that's going on. And outside the club meeting, we are at various activities, and some of those activities include going to the Toastmasters leadership, entering contests or watching what's going on at the contest, and being at the executive committee meeting. Those 3 things are important. Knowing what's going on is important to the secretary. Before the club meeting, you want to know who all is going to be in attendance. And when you arrive at the club meeting, you go to watch people as they enter in and keep track of who all is there for each role. And during the club meeting, you're watching the agenda and making sure that you know who did what. Sometimes just keeping the agenda and making it straight, correct, is enough. And sometimes you need to really be careful and keep really excellent notes. And I know of one club that keeps such good notes, they can send it out after the meeting and everybody knows what happened at that meeting and who said what and who won the best speaker or the best table topics or the best evaluator. And you're keeping these notes during the club meetings. I want to tell you a story about a secretary that she didn't know what she was doing, but she knew she was supposed to keep records. While she was keeping those records, she had her agenda and she wrote notes, everything that everybody did and what they said. At the end of the year, her club had been not distinguished at all and nobody had done anything or paid attention to what was going on. And I went with her, we sat down and we figured out that she had given every speech for her. And at that time we called it the competent communicator. That was 10 speeches when you began. Her notes showed when she gave each speech and the title of that speech and who evaluated her. And at that time, they needed to know what all happened at the meeting. So she had recorded each position that she had done, like ballot counter or table topics or general evaluator. In evaluating the person, she had kept extensive notes on who did what. When we got through, she had completed her competent leader, which you had to fill in all these blanks and all the things that you did. She filled in her competent communicator, which was 10 speeches, and she had another book that she had finished. I want you to know that those records were extremely important to her success and her value of herself. I am proud of her, and I'm so pleased that she was the only one in her club that accomplished anything that year, because she wanted to know what she did with everybody else. Before the club meeting, we need to be sure that we have a list of what everybody did before. Sometimes we send out notices, emails about who all did what. And sometimes it is up to you as a secretary to prepare the list for the actions for the president. For instance, if he wants to introduce or induct a new member, you have all of the paperwork for him, the pledge that we give to the new member and what the new member pledges us. Keep that so that everybody can say it. You remind him that these are the things, how we induct the new member. We send him out, vote on him, and then process him in through the club. And sometimes you have a visitor and you want him to be sure and notice that visitor. He may have been busy with other things, but you have the list of the visitors there before him so that he can make note of that. Or if somebody has earned an award and it's now time to present it, you have printed out the award and you can let him give it to the person who earned that award. Oh, and this will be mentioned several times. You want to update the club officer list. That is your job. You go into Toastmasters International and then go to Club Central, and down there it will give you the opportunity. Look at the officer list and be sure it's the current officers and make any changes that are necessary. We want that officer to receive the credit for which he served. And then you will update that list, make sure it's correct. We don't need to circulate the attendance sheet very much anymore, but you may need to if you have a very large club and want to know all the 50 members who attended. You might have an attendance sheet. If there's any new guests, you want them to be sure to sign in to the guest list. That way you can contact them later. Sometimes it's the president who sends a note, sometimes it's the PPE, and sometimes it's the secretary. Sometimes it's the membership, but at least be sure that we have the name of the person who is a guest so we can contact them later. If you're at an executive meeting, you will read the minutes of the previous meeting, executive meeting. You will note any amendments. Somebody said, no, I didn't say it that way. I want to put it this way. Then you will make the amendments and you will record the current meeting minutes, being sure to record what everybody said and why they said it and what moves were made and accepted. Sometimes those are extremely important. For the president to go back and say, I did not say that. This is what I meant. So you want to have it correct and let him read those notes. Please maintain an accurate roster for you and the treasurer to be able to contact people. Be sure that the new member is entered in. Sometimes it's the VP of membership who enters in the new member. Sometimes it's the secretary. So be sure you know who is supposed to admit new members on the Toastmaster site so that you can maintain an accurate roster. What if somebody moves to another town and they're no longer here and they were an officer and they're not going to be an officer anymore because they're out of town? It's up to you to take them out of the roster and complete the new officer list. I've told you that before and we keep saying it over and over because so many times somebody didn't do it. But you as secretary, you can be sure it's done. We don't have very much correspondence that comes in, but sometimes the international director or the past international director of Toastmasters would like to come and visit our club, your club, and they send you an email telling you what day they'd like to be there. You talk to your president, you talk to your other officers, and make sure that he or she knows that they are invited and you want to welcome them well. Those would be some kinds of correspondence that you would do. Well, Toastmasters might send you a note saying this person would like to know more about membership to your club. Oh, it is your job to keep the club funds. You keep them at home in a big box, and then you give them to the next secretary. Sometimes it's just a notebook. Sometimes it's the book that you leave right there at the Toastmaster meeting, so anybody could be the secretary at the meeting and fill in the blanks of who did what. But really, it is your job to keep the club funds. Whatever they are, you need to know where they are at all times. And you want to attend each and every executive committee meeting, because you're supposed to keep the minutes of those meetings and know what's going on. And you know that you have a vote at the international business meeting, wherever it is held in any part of the world. Well, I don't get to go to all of them, but as secretary, I send my ballot, which you get online from Toastmasters International. You fill in the blanks and you send it to Mark this. You send it to your district director or any other of the three trios. They will cast your vote for you at the international conference if you can't go. I've been to them. I had fun, and I certainly enjoyed the business meetings. While they're counting votes, they have people go up and down the aisle singing, and you're supposed to jump in and enjoy and march around the auditorium. It is so fun. You meet so many interesting people, and some people I recognize. I was there last time. I'm there again, and they recognize me. I can tell you some stories about people that I've met at the international meeting. Base camp. You're watching how they have given the speeches and you record what they finished. They send it to you and you record it. Either you, the vice president of education, or the president can enter this information to base camp for these people to see their achievement. The end of the year is coming. Someone else was elected to take the secretarial spot for next year. You may have had to locate these people and invite them and tell them a little bit about what a secretary does and help them enjoy foreseeing their future as a secretary. So you have to arrange for your placement. If you need help, who do you ask? You ask your president. You ask your vice president of education. You ask the past secretary, what do I do and how do I do it? And they can help you, whoever it is. And you must prepare your successor for success. You give them the books. You help them understand how they process the words, how they do things. And even say, I'll go with you when you're going to submit the new officer list. I'll go with you to the bank. Oh, we forgot to talk about it. Some clubs are corporate clubs, and if you need money in that corporate club, you simply go and say, I need $30 to buy so-and-so, and they let you know. But some clubs have to have their money in the bank. And I have found that in order to change these people from being the signatory on the bank account someone else being the signatory, and getting the new credit card, you have to prepare the proper paperwork for the bank. In my experience so far, I go to the bank and ask them how they want the letter that you're the new secretary. And they will tell you exactly how they want it done. But I found the information that you will need. Tell the date of the election for the new officers, the date they were assuming their responsibilities, and then you list the past officers and their duties, whatever position they held, and then you list the new incumbent officers and what day they assumed their duties. And at our banks, all four officers did not have to attend at the same time, but the past president and the past treasurer must go and sign off on their account, and the new people, the new president and the new treasurer, go in and sign up for this period. Go to your bank and find out what's necessary. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it's very easy. But do that to find out how you will be able to process things so that your new treasurer can order things and your new president can order things if necessary. When you go to the executive meeting, you read the minutes of the previous meeting. How will you fulfill your responsibility? Think about that. How do you go about getting yourself ready and set up for the exam? And then think about when will each thing that I need to do be completed. And think about who in the world is able to help me. It's your past secretary, a president, or vice president of education, someone else that's been in the knowledge that can help you. What materials, resources are available to you? You may go online to Toastmasters International, and you can see this very presentation under club officer roles, secretarial. And you can see what all resources are available to you. By going there and say resources, and they will list all sorts of resources for you. One of the things I want to invite you to do is attend any district-sponsored club officer training that you can in person. It is fun. I have met so many nice people. I have made good friends over the years. And even if they're in a different district, they may come to join this district like some of my friends have. I know them, and it was an immediate, wonderful feeling to know that they were there. And of course, you can go online and read all the materials, and you can read the club officer training booklet, which gives you a lot of information. Certainly meet with the outgoing executive committee meeting. Those people will help you tremendously. Meet with the outgoing secretary to get all of the materials and get set up and know what you're going to be doing. And then you're ready to meet with your current executive committee. Do they meet before the meeting, after the meeting, during the meeting, at some place? I like the executive meetings where you eat, greet, and have a meeting. I like those the best. You have more of a camaraderie. Oh, it costs you $15 or so, but you have so much fun. And you get to know your fellow members of the executive committee. Then, after you have assumed your duties, you go online again. How many times have we said this? About 6 so far. But it's so important to confirm the submission of the newly elected officers list. Get credit. You want them to get credit for what they've done this 6 months. Review all your materials and see if you need to order any new packets, visitor packets. You need to order any materials, handouts, anything, valuation slips, whatever it is you need. It is important to know where you can go to look up anything about your position. I wish I could be there with you. You can go online, Toastmasters International, under Distinguished Club Program and Club Success Plan. And it's your duty to kind of keep up with this, see how they're doing in the year, who submitted their awards, and how many new guests that we have, how many new members do we have. I know you don't need to order a guest book very often, but if you do and yours is getting pretty worn and looking bad, or you're just out of room, you may go to guest book item number 84 under Toastmasters.org. Again, I want to be sure and tell you, be sure and submit your club officer list for this term. And then if you want to do anything like send out memos, whatever it is you want to do, go to use the Toastmasters materials and be sure you use the correct logo, correct sheets for your mailings. Be sure you submit the right information to the newspapers using the correct format. I thank you. I wish I could be there to answer any of your questions, but if you have any, you may email me at Hettie, that's spelled Hetti, Allsup, ALLSUP @yahoo.com. Bye.